What'd you end up doing this weekend?
Or should I ask you what you end up getting to?
Me?
Yeah, man, what did you do this week?
Well,
a piece of it.
oh shit. You can't do that. This isn't checkers.
Yes, you can. That's how you're supposed to do it.
Dude, I'm gonna teach you how to actually play one day. No, I mean I didn't do that much. I just
wasn't able to do that.
got a few pieces from my AD. I just took your pawn. And ended up going to the pool a little bit after working for most of the time. So.
Oh, you know what? I did jump you, man. That's exactly
Hold on. Hello? Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, I know that. What do you mean though? Yeah, like I've been doing that anyway, but I didn't realize it was gonna happen this soon. I'm just gonna have to adjust my portfolio. Alright. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Take care. Alrighty.
Oh, what happened?
That was one of my friends who's a big dealer. There's some shit going down in the market, so I think actually, you know what? Let's just talk about this.
All right, let's talk about it.
It's important, so I think people want to hear about it. Yeah. So I guess we're just market update. Market update. Big things coming. Q4 2021 and all of 2022. If you're into luxury timepieces like Rolex, Audemars Piguet, Hublot, Ulysse Nardin, Cartier, etc., etc. And I just got the confirmation from one of my buddies in the industry who's a huge dealer. So I saw this coming a long time ago, but I want to share this info with you guys, especially if you're collectors, investors, and traders. We are expecting a few things to change in the economy. Number one, logistics constraints and import constraints. Demand is still high for a lot of these pieces like AP, Rolex, Patek, etc. And the supply is constrained, mostly due to the COVID-19 issues we've been seeing across the board. That's manufacturing issues everywhere, not just with luxury timepieces, but anything from Switzerland, China, etc. is jammed up, and we're seeing longer and longer turnaround times, even for service and repairs on timepieces. So what does that mean? Essentially, that means that prices are going up on high demand pieces that are sport models, stainless steel, rose gold, yellow gold, platinum, etc. for all the brands that people still want, because it's harder to get them imported and they're sticking within the country unless you're flying over. So some of these pieces like Patek Philippe Aquanauts and Nautiluses and the 5990s that used to be able to be accessed very easily in the USA, for example, are now extremely difficult to source within the country unless you're paying secondary market prices for those. So logistics is number one in terms of what is driving this market to keep going up, up, up. We've seen that for quite some time in 2021, but it's continuing to pass further into the year than we ever thought, okay? So the second thing causing an issue right now is the market correction that is expected at the end of this year in Q4 or potentially mid-2022. Now, I've been keeping my eye on this in the market for quite some time. This is impacting all luxury consumerism, not just luxury timepieces, but bags, shoes, fashion, etc. People who spend a lot of money on these types of things. And what drives some of that? We've been watching the exotic car markets. We've been watching what the banks are doing. And when I mean correction, I mean you're seeing prices on some of these timepieces go so high up that eventually there has to be some sort of adjustment because it just becomes pure speculation. So an example is even on an Ever Rose Sky Dweller that you used to be able to pick up at around your high 40K range, low 50K range, are up in the low to high 60K range, and I don't see a lot of that coming down. Now we expect a 10 to 15% adjustment correction on AP, Patek, Rolex, and some of the in-demand stuff like the new Cartiers towards the end of this year. I would say 10 to 15%. So if you are buying luxury timepieces right now in the secondary market, make sure you're paying attention to that. Make sure you're not buying at the top end of that spectrum. Make sure you're not buying Rolex Pepsis at like 26K, and then you're gonna get stuck when the market corrects and it goes down 15% and you paid way too much. That's why I'm sticking to mostly the blue chip pieces. I wouldn't buy anything crazy like forged carbon or crazy case materials over the 20K mark on brands like Frank Muller, Custos, Hublot. You got to be very specific when you buy those watches if you're going to buy, sell, and trade them, which we teach you in Watch Trading Academy. But be careful, because when that correction hits, you're going to have less people looking to purchase pieces of that nature, especially experimental case materials, and more people who want to purchase precious metals, things that are blue chip like AP, Rolex, Patek. So hold on to those. I wouldn't touch Richard Mille with a 10-foot pole unless it's something like an RM10 in rose gold, which I have. I would stay away from the stuff like the $500,000 Bubba Watsons, because there's new money and rappers touching a lot of that shit. And when that correction hits, guess what? There's only about 5 to 10 people who are gonna write a check for that, and it's coming in at about $250K. So you're burning about $250 buying one of those right now. Unless you really have to have it, I think it's idiotic. Wait for the market to correct and don't touch that shit, okay? The third biggest factor impacting the market right now in 2021 is inflation. So the Biden administration is doing their best to raise the minimum wage for people in the United States. And even if you don't live in the USA, as a global economic impact, it's going to hit you. So it's hard to revert back from that when minimum wage raises. And as inflation increases, which it hasn't aggressively yet, you're gonna continuously see prices tick up, right? That goes for the luxury asset class too. With the timepieces, we're seeing a little bit of that come into play with what's going on in the market. And then finally, as a correlation to that, there is false inflation because dealers, gray market dealers mostly, some authorized dealers, are hoarding the stuff that everyone wants because they know it's coming. So what does that mean? If you have Rolex, Patek, AP, Vacheron, Constantin, the blue chip stuff that has liquidity, they are buying up the most in-demand models, more so now than ever before, because what they're going to do is they're going to inflate the price on Chrono24, on eBay, on the resale market, and make it look like these pieces are going way over what the liquidity point is for that. So you have to be careful and understand what you're looking at when you go to buy or sell, because just because you're seeing that information online doesn't mean that that's what's actually happening. Perfect example is the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak and Yellow Gold with blue dial that I had shown you before is up at around 150 to 170K. Now that's a 60K MSRP watch, and the liquidity point of that is not necessarily around 150 to 170 yet. It will be, but dealers are making it look like that's where the price point is by inflating their prices because they're the ones who are hoarding these pieces. So what does that mean for you? It means buy smart. It means understand that there is still potentially a correction coming, and with inflation, prices are gonna go up, but a lot of dealers are driving that market look and they are manipulating the market. So if you do get a hold of pieces that are in demand, whether it's steel, yellow gold, rose gold, platinum, any of the precious metal pieces, hold on to those. Don't let them go so easily, because the cost to replace those is going to be much higher than it was in previous years, okay? So those three factors are really what we're looking for. My dealer who just called me gave me some of that trigger point that we are starting to see a lot of that happen now. So I'm gonna stock up a lot on the blue chip pieces. I'm gonna wait for the holidays to come, and I'm gonna make sure that everything hits at the price that I want it to, and I'm not gonna cheap or short myself when I'm selling those, okay? If you want continuous market updates, we'll have more for you coming Q4 in 2022. We do expect to see inflation and the correction hit, and you'll be the first to know. If you like, share, subscribe below, and we'll keep awesome info coming your way, guys, all right? Take care, let's make some money, enjoy these pieces, and stay ahead of everything on the market curve right here. I'll talk to you soon.